What is confidence? Why is confidence? Where is confidence? How
Oh my God.
is confidence?
Tell us.
To me, confidence really, as a foundational idea, exists between as the relationship between your environment and how you express yourself in relation to the relationship you have with yourself.
Yeah.
It's like the punctuation of your existence.
Yeah.
It's assertive. It's intense, but it's also subtle and gentle, and like that guy, not so aggressive, not screaming all the time that it needs to be there.
Yeah.
Although some people really do interpret confidence to be that way, which is why you get these really egotistical people existing without a lot of restraint. As a society, you think about confidence and egos. And it's because the ones with egos are very loud.
Right.
And confidence is quiet.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Intellectual Podcast. We're just putting just a little splash of nuance in the polarizing conversations of the internet.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
Jem.
And I'm Renee.
And we're talking about one of my favorite subjects on the planet.
Confidence.
Confidence. Bum, bum, bum. Beep, 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 beep.
What's that song? I think to be confident. What's wrong with me? What's wrong? It's Megan Trainor, I think.
Oh, that's why I don't know
Yeah. What's wrong with being confident?
And when you're singing that, it's like triggering. What's love got to do?
What?
I don't know. I don't know. Girl, I have no idea. I have no idea. Something. But
Something's going on there.
no, I've never heard that song. I do not like Megan Trainor. But I will say she really embodies confidence.
She does.
For better or worse.
She's confident in herself. I'm not going to speak ill on that woman. We can move on.
We can move on. There's really nothing bad to say about her.
No, it's just like personal preference.
Yeah, I just don't like her music like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's like the least problematic individual.
No,
on
like
the
go
planet.
off, queen. Like,
Hey,
do
your
you?
thing. You're really in your lane.
Right.
At
She
peace.
knows her strengths. Yeah.
Not making your backup dancers feel uncomfortable
Right.
and fat shaming them when you're 10 times larger than the average human
Oh my
being.
God, stop.
But anyways, that's neither
Let's not
here.
forget about Lizzo.
Yeah, let's not.
Lizzo wanted us to forget, but we have not
she
forgotten.
Came back on freaking TikTok talking about
Like, girl.
that didn't just happen. Stop.
Right.
No.
Like,
No,
come on now.
ma'am.
I love our culture now in the sense of like correcting like dumb shit that celebrities are doing. It's like
We
Ariana
really are
Grande's
holding those people accountable.
Yeah.
More than before.
Ariana Grande's new single, Yes and everyone's like, girl, no. We are not going to sit here and condone your bullshit any
We're not
longer.
over that yet.
We're not over it.
over that.
Don't
Sorry.
it's not hee hee ha ha. You're not like, girl, you are a grown ass woman. You broke up a whole marriage.
Right.
That's
Two.
fucked up.
Two whole marriages.
And we forgave you for the first. Oh, her marriage. No, I'm
Yeah.
sure her marriage was already over. You know what I mean? I don't
That's
give a
why she was acting out of pocket.
mess with your marriage all you want, whatever.
fair, okay.
But you broke up a whole ass other marriage.
kid.
Newborn baby,
That's
new
crazy.
mother. And you're going to be like, yes, and like bitch, shut the
yes,
fuck
and
up.
go figure that
Yeah,
out.
go back to therapy.
Like Jesus Christ.
Girl, oh my
Dude,
God.
I do love Gen Z for that. That is
Right.
quintessential Gen Z, and it's
Yes.
amazing. Good
Yes.
job.
We love that.
Hold these rich people. Eat the rich.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
I guess.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Some people shouldn't be too confident, you know? Some people need to dial back their confidence.
And I think that's a very interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
Because I would argue no celebrity really exists with true confidence.
Oh, okay.
It's hard. It's hard to be a public figure and have confidence. But you do interact with ego.
Okay.
And confidence isn't necessarily a high sense of self.
Right. Oh, wow. We're really going to get into it.
Right.
I'm curious about this
Right.
distinction. Okay.
But let's take a little step back, a couple steps back.
Totally.
This popped up on my thing
Okay.
the other day. It was a TikTok. It was a clip of it was a TikTok of a clip.
Gotcha. A clip of a TikTok?
No, it was a TikTok that
Of
was
a
a clip
clip.
of this video.
Okay.
There you go.
Gotcha.
There you go. And the interactions that these people were having was so interesting to me. One man in particular.
Okay.
For those of people, you specifically, who doesn't know what's going on, this is it's a dating game called Pop the Balloon or Find Love. So if you don't want the girl, you pop the balloon. If you do want the girl, you
found love.
Yeah, literally. And it's a bunch of people. They line up, and the girl walks in, and they decide whether or not they.
Okay, I love a good dating show.
Me too. It's this man in particular. I want to get your impression.
All right.
Ahead and back up. So we do have one more person over here that ended up popping their balloon on us. So, sir, if we can have your name and how old you are.
Hi, my name is Dr. Elam, and I am 38 years old.
Okay, and Dr. Elam, why did you end up popping your balloon?
A couple of reasons. First reason is you said you don't like you wanted someone with a little dirt under their nails, and that's not me. I actually get manicures. Why do I get manicures? Because I'm a dentist, and my hands are actually insured. So I may not be able to date you, but I would hire you.
Oh, uh-oh. We're out here networking. Hello.
Okay. Hold all your questions and concerns until the end.
So as far as you just don't get a little dirt under your nails, but she kind of specified a little bit more, like she doesn't mean physical dirt. She just wants someone, who gets a little rough outside. Like,
well, maybe I can ask her to elaborate.
Okay. So if like something wrong with my car, you can take care of it. Or go get it taken care of.
I won't take care of it, but I will hire someone who can.
Like, can you mow the lawn? Like,
So do you do I think you mean like a handyman, like around the house, does some things?
Yeah, he took that really literally.
Yeah, that's not me.
Okay.
It's not him.
It's not him.
Apparently.
And then so
He does not handyman
Dr. Elam here.
or take the responsibility of making sure things are repaired.
He said he would hire somebody.
Yeah, fair. That's fine as long as you're taking care of it.
So that's that one.
Okay.
There's more. There's more of this man.
Okay.
This is a 2-hour video.
Okay. He seems like he's going to be a problem.
I'll let you be the judge, to be honest.
Okay. There's something about a guy, obviously the other stuff I'll watch. There's something about a guy who's particular with semantics in words that's an alarm goes off in a woman's head,
I see. Yeah. I can see that.
I pop my balloon not because you're not gorgeous, not because some men can't hold space for your emotions, but for me, it was the weight loss. And while we are all proud of you for losing the weight, I am considering the risk long term. You may have health problems down the line that we may have to work with, and the habits that you've developed over time are going to be challenging to upkeep in your 40s and 50s and 60s. So for me, I'm concerned about your health over a long period of time.
Okay. Any response to that?
You want to hear her response?
Because believe it or not, I am a health nut. I am vegan-ish. I don't eat beef, pork, chicken, or dairy. Because I am a health nut, I go get tested for everything. I have no high cholesterol, no high blood pressure, no diabetes, no nothing. I'm completely healthy.
It's also really funny to me.
Yeah.
Because obviously, this man is really attractive.
Right.
So, his personality is one thing.
Yeah.
But also the response that people are giving him, because most of the people that walk into this want to date him.
Oh, I see.
So
they're trying to just but this, are you saying they're trying to cater to him in some way? Yeah. Okay. Go on.
My blood pressure is A1. I work out 5 to 6 times a week. I strength train as well. I eat very clean. I'm just in a thicker body, very physically fit outside the clothes. But to each his own. If you're worried about health things, just because somebody's in a smaller frame doesn't make them healthier than me. And to be honest with you, I'm a little thick, but I can run with the big boys or the big girls. I get down in the gym, baby. I do it all. So I understand perception is reality. And that's what you get from optics. But I'm trying to tell you, you kind of fine. So y'all got an air pump because we might need to clean.
The fact that she would still want to be with him after him saying that to her, his concern valid-ish, but like also what she was saying, like just because someone looks a certain type of way does not mean that they're healthy or unhealthy. Also, the fact that like people have the ability to like, I guess like, what is it? Turn over like their biology. And if you like take the proper measures to like correct whatever damage has been done or whatnot. And like, I wonder if he goes as far too to ask about like family, like history, because there's some things that you just can't control.
Right.
You might just have like a genetic predisposition. Was that the right word? Predisposition. Oh, blah, blah. To like certain things.
But also his focus was interesting because it's weight loss. She lost 150 pounds.
Gotcha.
And he's like, that much weight is concerning to me because of the long-term effects that will have on your body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe it's because you're in the medical field that you care about some things like that.
Yeah.
But she explained how she's healthy and fit.
Right.
But he's talking about the weight loss itself.
He's stuck on that.
Yeah.
But like she has healthy habits now. It's from what she's saying.
This entire interaction was really confusing to me.
Yeah.
But there's more, and this is
okay.
This is the one that this is the clip I saw.
Okay.
We're leading up to.
Gotcha.
My name is Dr. Elam. I'm 38 years old, and I popped my balloon after listening to you.
Okay, damn. Okay.
I think humility and integrity is something that takes a lot of work to acquire, and it doesn't seem like you've done that work yet.
No? Okay.
Have you had therapy before?
No, you want to be my therapist?
If you need one.
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
I charge by the hour.
Sure.
I mean, it's funny, but it's not a joke.
Okay, sure. So you think I need therapy?
I know you need therapy.
Okay.
I think we all need therapy, but it
Shit,
takes a certain level of humility to admit it. And if you can't admit it, then, well, you definitely need therapy.
Okay. Sure.
And why do you think she needs? I know you said everyone needs it, but why are you telling her specifically that you think she needs it?
Well, I think we're all giving a bit of constructive criticism, and it seems like you're taking it harshly, which means you have a level of insecurity that needs to be talked with a third party.
Okay. I think you're
Wow.
too into that because I don't need therapy. I'm fine. I'm not insecure. I'm
Oh,
very secure
she
with
just
myself,
confirmed
but that's
exactly
your
what he
opinion.
just
It's
said
okay.
to her.
Thank you for proving my point.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes men, like when you're too confident, they think like it's a problem for them, and
It's
fine.
okay to be insecure.
But I'm
it's
not.
okay.
So you don't know me. You just see me 2 seconds ago.
Look, insecurity is something we all struggle with.
Okay.
And the fact that you can't admit that means that you haven't been able to work past it.
Okay.
And you're already proving to me that it's going to take work to communicate with you because you're not listening to me.
Okay, doctor, you got a card? I'll call you after the show, and you can give me a session.
You can take my Instagram.
Sure.
And did I mention I was a doctor, or you just called me that?
I feel like you said doctor, but okay.
Yeah. So this is a great opportunity for you to learn that communication can be had without getting defensive. And we can talk to each other like adults and work through our troubles in the same way I have and in the same way you need to.
Okay.
So we can definitely talk after the show.
Okay, I think I know what it is.
Okay.
All right. So that's what I want to show you. For context, this man is 40. I think that girl is.
Got you. I think what it is with him is one thing I enjoy. He clearly like when people like have like a thought process and like they understand the reasons why, blah, 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 they don't always say it out loud. He says it out loud, eloquently, is able to explain himself for the reasons. And like, I very much enjoy that. It's kind of funny at times because it's like you're speaking truth in a lot of ways. With the weight loss one, that one's a little bit like, he's a doctor. I wonder if he has just some sort of like knowledge of like weight gain and loss and like how that impacts. I'm sure it's like a trauma on the body in some ways and like all these sorts of things. It's just maybe way too hyper aware of like how those things work and would rather just avoid it, which is like, I guess maybe then his focus on the weight loss and not necessarily on her body is very intentional because he probably agrees with her that like how someone looks doesn't determine their health, but the fact that you had to lose so much weight that being a thing. Anyways, he talks down to people. He's not someone that I would be afraid if he was like, I'm an empath. You know what I mean? Like, I think he thinks that he really believes in himself. Mm-hmm. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room. You
could say he's pretty confident.
Yes, he's very confident. And it's not a problem to be confident, but there's a level that it goes where it goes out of confidence and goes into arrogance.
Sure.
And I think he is kind of towing that line. And I think that's kind of this like visceral reaction that I'm kind of getting, where I'm like, I like what you're saying. And like the thing when he was telling that girl, he was like, you know, humility takes integrity. You know, these are important like things that you should want from a partner. Like I am agreeing with you, but there's something off about it. And I think it's because he talks down to people. He thinks he's better than everyone in that room.
Arguably, he is. But it's one thing to be that and other thing to express that you understand that.
And if you have like this great understanding of humans and relationships and interactions and like all this stuff, and you are kind of like on this pedestal, you're not, with that understanding, you're not going to talk down to people because you have an understanding of all these things, you know, like
what is understood doesn't need to be explained. And his person, I'm glad that you brought this up because I was so curious because, again, very relatable in the sense that like I feel that I relate to a lot of things he was saying and the communication style very similar. But I was like, I like it. I think you're good, very attractive man, very ideal man, but the way that you are, I'm like resisting it for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's the talking down.
Yeah.
And what were we saying? I forgot.
I don't know where you're going with that, but like, I don't know. There is something very icky about, I just don't like it. It's like, it's one of those things that, I don't really know how to explain it, but like, and I only use like Christian, like whatever, like you have like Jesus Christ, who is like, you know, was literally on this pedestal, right? Son of God.
Literally the Son of God.
Right, exactly. Like all these sorts of things. But like when he treated the prostitute like he treated everyone else. You know what I mean? Like if you have this great understanding, you are so much kinder and compassionate and understanding with people. And he's not coming from a place of compassion and kindness. He's coming from a place of like, I know all. I am like, and he knows he's a catch. He knows he's hot. He knows he's on this level, whatever. And he's just like, there's no like, it's not genuine. Like he tried to be all like, you need therapy and like, well, but like, there's no genuine like kindness coming from him, in my opinion.
So he's unkind.
Yeah, I don't think he's a very kind person.
Gotcha.
I think you get into a relationship with him and he requires perfection.
I do get that impression as well.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, like the semantics thing that, come on, bro. They said she explained herself.
Right.
And also literally like, well, I'll hire someone to do it. Yes, she's literally just saying like, can you take care of, like if I got a flat tire, would you like take care of it?
Even less about the actual taking care and more like, do you even care?
Right, exactly, right. Like if the pipe under the sink burst, will you be the one to like, I don't necessarily need you to be the handyman to fix it, but will you be the one to call the person, like be a man and deal with those types of things in the house? Yeah. I'm like, bruh, you knew what she was saying. Stop with that bullshit.
You're too intelligent.
Right.
Come on now. Come
off it.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
What I was saying, what is understood doesn't need to be explained. If you are that, it will show up without you having to like force it.
Yes.
You don't have to constantly, with every word you say, be screaming it to everyone you're interacting with.
Yeah.
Because you can just exist comfortably and relax in that.
And like the way that he was interacting with the girl that he said need therapy, like the back and forth, the little sassiness, like if you really genuinely like were coming from a place of like, I think like there's some more work that you need to do, and like that like can be a beautiful journey, like of self-discovery and figure out your, like, I don't know, why would you be talking? Granted, she was kind of sassy, but like, so maybe you just kind of get caught up in it. But like, if you were this person, why are you getting caught up in it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was like, I'll give you my card. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro.
I'll hire you.
Right. Like, what? What? He thinks he's better than everyone. He's never going to be able to find his person because he's God. And
well,
his
he
eyes.
found a dude at the end of that, or a girl at the end of that.
I was like, it would be a dude. It would be a man. I knew it.
No, he found a girl at the end of it
that he
gonna pop the balloon for. They went on a date.
Oh, okay.
I'll send you the video so you can finish.
I'm
the rest
actually
of the
very
video. It's
curious
so
about this
interesting.
progression.
Especially all what the other people were saying, equally as interesting. So,
okay.
and they have a girl version too,
Ooh.
which is even more interesting. So
this is almost like the Jubilee videos.
Yeah.
Sort of like
almost in the same vein.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, so I thought that was pretty relevant to today's conversation.
Yeah, I think so.
And I was like, that's good. And because again, I felt an interesting connection to him as an entity.
Yeah.
But a resistance to the way he was expressing himself.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's what it is.
What is confidence? Why is confidence? Where is confidence? How?
Oh my God.
Is confidence?
Tell us.
To me, confidence really is a foundational idea. It exists as the relationship between your environment and how you express yourself in relation to the relationship you have with yourself.
Yeah.
It's like the punctuation of your existence.
Yeah.
It's assertive. It's intense, but it's also subtle and gentle and like that guy, not so aggressive, not screaming all the time that it needs to be there.
Yeah.
Although some people really do interpret confidence to be that way, which is why you get these really egotistical people existing without a lot of restraint. Because it's like, I'm confident, no one can tell me stuff. I'm gonna double down on my poor behavior because confidence, baby.
Right.
Fake it till you make it. I was like,
no.
Not quite.
Take it back
Not
a couple
quite,
steps.
Not quite.
No.
And I think we, as a society, I think we're confused about confidence and egos. And it's because the ones with egos are very loud.
Right.
And confidence is quiet.
Yes.
So I think it creates the opportunity for a really good conversation to be had about it, which is what we're going to do. And I think a good representation of confidence in relation to controversy is what's been happening this week, the conversation around Johnathan Majors.
Oh, yes, with his conviction. Is that the right
conviction
word?
And his whole getting removed from the spotlight and all that stuff. He finally spoke out.
Right.
He responded.
Yes.
And I think it really showcases his interaction with the idea of confidence. Because to do that, when you're like the villain of your own story, you have all this media perception painting you in a negative light.
Right.
And trying to make sense of you being the most prolific up and coming individual in Hollywood, black man, challenging ideations of masculinity and beauty and femininity and stereotypical ideas around how black men should exist in relation to American society.
Wow. Yeah.
To let that be ripped away from you in the most like cliche way possible.
Right. There's like so many layers of that situation. I saw the video. That was just like, damn. The optics.
I don't think I could deal. I don't personally, if that happened to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I could deal.
Yeah.
So for that to happen to him, for him to be depressive and suicidal, and all this stuff, and then to still go in front of media and talk about it. These people, journalism, they're asking really pointed questions about really personal things that you have to explain to society that has nothing to do with the situation that you're probably still processing, that you're probably still grieving from, all that stuff. He handled himself with poise and grace. And he was you can critique it. Yeah. And people do critique it.
Yeah.
But base level, the man who had everything, the keys to the empire, lost it, fell on his face, fell from grace. Right. To sit there and converse and be even willing to sit there and converse, to me, is a really good representation of the type of confidence that I want to explain to the people.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Nothing to add? Nothing to say about Johnathan Majors?
Not really. Like I said, I saw the video. I don't know that I necessarily want to talk about like his
stuff.
I don't know enough about it. I also don't necessarily want to err on the side of, without having any knowledge, bashing on a woman's like experience. Like I said, I saw the video. Who knows what happens behind closed doors, whether he deserved that like sentence or not. You know me. I would, and I think, you know, we should. Yeah, I don't want to not believe the woman in this scenario, right. Especially when I don't know enough, and I don't think anyone will really know enough to really know. So yeah, but using that as your example of like just in the face of like adversity, handling yourself, and he may feel very confident in himself and his story and what he knows as truth, and more power to him. More power to him.
I realized in retrospect how that could be like taken there. And I was like, oh yeah, because the story is like irrelevant to everything else that happened. Like what happened between them, I don't care about.
Yeah.
What happened as a result of that is the thing that I've always focused on in this entire thing.
Totally.
Because of what Johnathan Major was becoming.
Yeah.
For our community specifically.
Right. No, I see what you're saying.
So yeah, that is true. Yeah. That is very true. So, so confidence. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling confident. Feeling really good. For me, because I know you kind of like define confidence for yourself. I feel like when I think about like confidence, and it's something for me that I think it's always kind of a muscle that you're kind of like exercising. I don't think you like reach confidence and then you're kind of there and you're set.
Like an achievable goal.
Right, exactly.
Skill unlocked, confidence.
Right. Right. It's like a video game. You've unlocked like a new.
Exactly.
It's definitely
confidence level maxed out.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I get you.
But it's something that I've been specifically focusing on, I think, in the last like couple years. And when I think about confidence, and even then preparing for this episode, like I do think it feels like harmonious. Like I am in harmony with like myself internally, and as you said, with the external environment. Right. But not because I'm appeasing the external environment, but because I know myself in relation to the external environment. Right. And yeah, I think that's just like a really beautiful thing. And it's funny how like, because as I was thinking about it, there's so many there's so many things that can impact your confidence, and like it can go all the way down to like these like really like micro things that you don't realize are like affecting your confidence and in your life and the way that you approach things and all these sorts of things, like your lifestyle, who you surround yourself with, how you treat yourself. You know, there's all of these things. And it really goes deep as it does.
As things do be doing sometimes. Know what I mean?
They do be doing
that low key all the time.
Right. Literally.
Well, I'll also take another step back.
Okay.
And just on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your confidence? Just like general day to day. You wake up in the morning, you're existing in the world.
I would say my general confidence is at like an 8 right now.
8.
Yeah, I would say I'm a solid 8.
And what makes it an 8, if you can like articulate that?
Yeah, I'm a
when I was asking, I was like, that's kind of a hard question.
It's kind of a hard question. I think that I am existing the most authentically in spaces that I have ever existed in. So I feel like I have a much better understanding and like barometer of what is authentic to me and when things are not. I feel like there was a point in time where like it would take me a long time before I realized I was like, oh, this isn't actually me, right? But then also in your early 20s, you're kind of just figuring out what is you and what isn't. So that's kind of just the byproduct of that. I'm starting to like become more like quickly aware of like when I'm like, oh, that's not really me, this is more me. Also just engaging in social spaces. That was one thing that was really big for me. 'cause I'm a big people pleaser, Libra energy, woo.
Hey.
So I feel like I've gotten a whole lot better at engaging more authentically in social settings.
Gotcha.
And even in the way that I am like trying to learn and discover feels very authentic to me, even though like there are things that I'm working on to be more confident, but I'm engaging in them in a way that's authentic to me. So there's a confidence in the pursuit. Right.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think that's a very useful thing to elaborate on for a second, because like you were saying, it's not an end goal.
Yeah.
And it's a relationship that you have with yourself and the environment. So even when you're discovering who you are, and as you're pursuing that ideation, it's very important that you're doing it in a way that makes sense to you, like to who you are at this moment in time, in the present, right? So I like it. Good.
That is why. Oh, and then I guess why I'm not like a 9 or 10 would probably be because there's still like areas of my life that I'm doing. There are certain things that I do and habits that I have that like don't necessarily make me feel good, but I still engage in them. I'm working on not engaging in them any longer. So it could still be better.
Interesting. So interesting. I never even considered that. That little last part that you said about confidence.
Yeah.
Or like about things you need to improve on. I don't consider what needs improvement when I assess like my sense of self.
I feel like, and maybe this is because like as a woman.
As a woman.
All these things. That's all I need to say, right? You get it,
as
right?
a woman.
Yes.
I get it. Understood.
Oh my God. So I guess like to elaborate a little bit, for me, it's my relationship with food. I guess like trigger warning for anyone who might have an EG, but I don't. See, this is the moments where my people pleasing come down, being way too considerate to the audience. Anyways, I don't have an ED, but I do have like an odd relationship with food, and in the sense like of eating unhealthy versus eating healthy.
Got you. Like fast food versus organic.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Eating at home, cooking like a good meal, etc. And I just tend to eat like crap a lot of the time. And it really, it turns into like a domino effect.
Gotcha.
Of impacting me. Because I do struggle with how I perceive my body. And if when I don't eat healthy, I then feel like I become very hyper aware of my body. Just a byproduct of being a model and working in the industry. It's like this like hyper awareness of my body and how I look. And so when I eat unhealthy, then I become hyper aware of my body, and it just like shoots my confidence to shit.
Like a little cycle.
It's just exactly.
Yeah, feedback loop, if you will. Huh. That is really as a woman.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
it really is.
I get it.
As a woman.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Yeah,
I
it makes sense.
understand. I would rate my general average confidence at a 9.
Nice.
9.5, depending on the day.
Gotcha.
And depending on the space.
Okay.
And the reason why I do that is because the relationship I have with myself and the understanding that I have about my identity and how I exist in spaces, how I pursue improvement, all that stuff is so structured at this point in my life that nothing can really like crumble it or crack it or put any dink in the infrastructure.
Totally.
It took me like 15 years to get here.
Right.
But it's solid now.
Yeah.
It's very, very solid now.
Yeah.
And to my point that I was saying before, and I think this is a thing that people kind of struggle with, right? Because a person's sense of self is really related to what they're good at and also what they're bad at. And it's a balance between those two.
Yeah.
So if you're good at some things and bad at a lot of things, then your sense of self is going to be lower than a person who's bad at a few things and better at other things, even if the ratio is the same. So let's say like it's a 1-to-1 ratio for both people.
Yeah.
Depending on who has like more good things versus bad things, they'll feel some type of way.
Yeah.
I haven't always, but I learned to identify the bad parts of myself as equally myself.
Yes. Oh, so important.
So there is no good gem or bad gem. There is just gem.
There's just gem.
Gem. And he, like the bad things, like sure, like can these things be improved? Absolutely.
Sure, yeah.
Do I think that I'm less than because I need, or I have things that need to be improved?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Right.
And it comes from accepting the human experience, right? The human, you love the human experience.
I love the human experience.
The human experience to me is good, bad, and neutral. And it's all like an experience, neutral, qualify it based on your perspective type idea.
Wait, so right here, asterisk, go see episode on inner work here.
Right.
Literally that
Right.
episode.
Literally.
Like there's no good,
Literally.
bad. It's just like
It's just
integrating
happenings.
the self. Yeah.
So myself is extremely integrated. And I, you know, for better or for worse, I kind of hype up the bad qualities that I have. You know,
You
again,
just have fun with it.
yeah, I just have fun. It's like, oh, well, like for
Yeah.
like, I have an interesting relationship with eating out as well,
Yeah.
which is crazy because I am an extremely good cook.
Right.
I cook so well.
We'll never understand this man's like affinity for DoorDash.
Bizarre. Bizarre. Because anything I DoorDash, I can make 20 times better
Right.
for myself.
Literally.
It's just laziness. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's really what it is. And I'm just like, I could eat healthy. I laugh at it.
Yeah.
It's like, DoorDashing again. All right, here we go.
Right.
Whatever. It's not like how you have the cycle. Stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I can see how it would be easy to fall into that. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, DoorDash again? Like, bro, come on. And then the money and the time and like the being better and the domino.
There's things.
right?
Yeah.
The
There are
domino.
things. Right.
I'm just like, I'm being human.
Yeah.
This is my guilty pleasure.
Right.
And that's what it is. I really like Taco Bell.
Oh, it's so good.
It's annoyingly
I
good.
love Taco Bell.
And I hate every time I eat it, I'm like, why are you doing this?
Why did you do this to
You
yourself?
can make better tacos.
Right.
Please. Jam, please. But how I'm interacting with you guys right now is literally how I interact with it when I'm doing like by
Right.
myself interacting with this phenomena. Because to me, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
To me, it is kind of funny because
just kinda
how
comical.
boring would it be if you are just this perfect individual that has no peaks and valleys? You're
Right.
just popping out the womb. You can say 1,000 fucking words. You know math. You know all this stuff. You're the perfect
You
entity.
know math.
You know, like I can do calculus as a 3-year-old. Like,
Oh my god.
that's not fun.
Right.
That's not interesting. That's not relatable.
Right. Right.
So my confidence is very tied into my ability to relate to my environment.
Yeah.
And the better I can do that, the better, or the more human I feel, and the more human I feel, the more confident I am.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah. The more human you feel, the more confident you are. Wow.
What else?
Well, I mean, I guess like for myself too, a really big part of like the journey to my building my own confidence has really been like, it was previously about like the people I surrounded myself with. I think I had said that or made mention of that earlier. I feel like that is like an underrated, and maybe it's not, but I just feel like that's not something that's necessarily like super talked about unless it's like, well, if you're getting straight up bullied by your friends, then okay, like, yeah, they're going to shoot your confidence. But like, I do think there is something about like people you surround yourself with, like will either not make or break, but will impact your self-confidence, even if those people are not necessarily like bad or bad friends or not good to you. I think there is something to be said with that. And I know for myself, like one thing that I really was the best thing I could have done for myself at the time was, because oh god, that's like a whole other level. Having like building self-confidence is also like about like making decisions and having confidence in your decisions, even if like, and how you do that is by making the decisions when you're like, I'm not sure if this is the right decision, right? Trusting yourself. Like that's such a huge part of confidence. And so for me, I think a thing that I did for myself that was amazing was kind of stepping out and stepping away from certain friends, not completely, but just kind of taking some distance from certain friends and taking that leap of trying to make new friends. And I was very not confident in that decision, right? But it was something that I felt, that's something that I felt that I had to do. And then having the confidence in myself to be like, okay, like this is what you're going to do. Because I think you can be around people who don't necessarily make you feel like your most authentic self. And like I said, this is not anything I'm talking about in spaces where it's like very unintentional.
Right.
It's just compatibilities. Any relationship, there's compatibilities and there's, uncompatibilities.
And to that point too, if I can interject.
Of course.
20s, like we were saying, very variable.
Yeah.
Right. So who you are at 18 is very different than who you are at 24. So the friends that you make at 18 are going to be very different from the friends that you keep at 24 because you're completely different.
Right.
So maybe you're still trying to hang out with your friends that you have when you're 18 and they have a mode of behavior. You've outgrown them because this is always like the most cliche example, but like the drinking and the smoking and the partying, right? Because for lack of a better example, that's what it is. And maybe you don't want to drink as much, but being around them forces you to like, oh, I browned out again or blacked out again. I wasn't trying to drink as much this time, but they're like, come on, the camaraderie, the people you're around, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then when you're trying to improve and you're trying to be better and they're like still doing that, you're still like, you feel like you're still in a habit that you're trying to break or whatever. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, a little bit. I think also too, kind of in that when you like usually, like these friends that I'm talking about or like this like type of friend as someone who's 25. So those were friends who you make like in like your college years when you're starting to drink and party and blah, blah. You don't know yourself and you're just trying to like kind of fit in and figure things out. And I noticed that in my dynamic that I wasn't ever really engaging authentically as myself with these people.
Like you had to be a certain version
but
of
I
yourself?
was being a certain version, not even being a certain version of myself, just trying to be something that I really wasn't.
I see.
And the fear there being like, I'm going to have no friends if I separate myself from these people.
Gotcha.
Like I'm not going, but also when I hang out with these people, I don't feel my best. It makes me not feel very confident. It makes me I'm because where does that come from, right? If I'm not engaging authentically, I'm trying to just fit in. I'm telling myself who I am and how I operate is not good enough. I need to change myself to assimilate to what I have assessed as whatever they do as being the good enough, right? And that's a confidence destroyer. That line of thought, like
clearly,
right there.
my idea of what I'm supposed to be is not good enough.
Exactly.
In comparison to what I am trying to be or supposed to be for these other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, I think that was like a big aspect of like my confidence builder was then to be like, okay, trust in myself and confidence in myself that I'm making the right decision for myself. That was a really good practice. And then having the confidence to put yourself out there to make friends when you're 23, 24.
I know, so old.
Oh my God. No, but it's just like so different. It's just so different.
Yeah.
So that being like a really, and then, and then you meet people and you're like, you're being your authentic self and you're like, wow, like, oh, okay. Like this is like, it is okay to like be me.
Oh my God, people like me.
Right.
Like
exactly. Exactly.
Yes, they do.
But then also the lesson that not everyone's going to like you either.
Right.
Like,
And that's okay.
exactly.
That's super okay.
Exactly.
I coined the same idea as confidence can't exist in a vacuum.
Okay.
So if you are on an island just existing with yourself in your little volleyball with a face, I think his name's Brian or something like that.
What?
I don't remember the name. But there's no way to assess how much confidence you have.
Yeah.
Not actually.
Right.
Because confidence has to, on some level, and I think this is a very foundational level, exist in relation to other people, first and foremost. And also, and this might be a hot take, confidence is not produced internally. So no one's born with max confidence.
Yeah.
it's given to you by a person's association with your existence. If you grew up in an environment that wasn't conducive to a positive sense of self, your ability to grow confidence will be much harder than a person who was doted on hand and foot 24/7 and told indirectly that their existence mattered.
Gotcha.
Right. So it starts first with the love that your parents give you, unconditional love of a parent.
Yeah.
Giving you value, giving your existence value first and foremost. Then being yourself, once you have a personality, once you have a sense of self, the acknowledgement and the approval of your peers.
Yeah.
That this version of what you are is something that people enjoy being around. So that's a confidence that's given versus like developed. And once you have that foundational confidence, then you can work on all the other confidence side, if you will.
Interesting. Because I have always felt as if, and I think this is like the common like discussion when people talk about confidence is that it is intrinsic on some level. And which I do tend to like lean on that side as well. Like I see what you're saying. You definitely then like qualify it against other people. Also, I use qualify now because of you. Anyways,
nice. I love that.
I just wanted to tell you. I use it a lot more now.
Beautiful.
Like so, I see what you're saying, but I do think there's still an element of like you are the only one that's going to believe in yourself the most.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like no one else is going to believe in you as much as you believe in you. So like if you don't believe in yourself, like you're never going to have confidence.
Which
you know
is
what
to
I mean?
say, like, you can be a prince and still be insecure.
Right.
Right. Because to your point, it does. My point was more where it starts, like where it stems from.
Gotcha.
The seed that grows into your sense of self and your confidence has
nurture.
to be planted.
Gotcha.
It can't just exist. Your sense of self starts with people's interaction with you, like your parents' interaction with you.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good interaction with that, then it's hard to develop a positive sense of self. You can, it's very possible. You like Oprah Winfrey, for lack of a better example. I know she's very controversial right now.
Right.
She
is.
But her life is very hard. And her story is very like, you know?
Yeah.
So she had to take that sense of self that she got from her parents and her upbringing and her childhood and redefine it into something that she could then grow into a stronger sense of self.
Gotcha.
Versus one of the most major reasons why I am so confident is because I have one of the best mothers in existence.
Yes.
She loves me so much and she's always loved me that much. And I don't think if my mom and her sisters loved me as much as they did, I would have had a strong enough sense of self to even start believing in myself, to think that my ideas and my frame of reference and my thought and my perspective is worth considering. I'd always be defaulting to something else.
Gotcha.
To start.
Yeah.
And then I also have two other components of confidence. So in my brain, there's three. And it goes from external, which is the foundation the seed planted that you get from other people. And then two branches that are internal.
Okay.
One is your identity and your association with what that means to you.
Right.
And then skill set. So the external, the people you surround yourself with, the environment you grow up in, the interactions you have on the day-to-day that can make or break who you are as a person. Yeah. And then your identity, which we kind of touched on at the beginning. Yeah. But I want to go even deeper and say another relatively controversial idea. Okay. And I want to break at the seam this idea that people don't change.
Okay. People do change.
People 100% do change. It's the number one foundational feature of our, what are we?
Humans?
But what
mammals?
are humans?
Homo sapiens?
It's the number one feature of our species.
Oh, our species. We are a species.
We are a species.
Yes.
We forget sometimes. We do forget sometimes, but we 100% are a species. Yeah. Our adaptability and our ability to change the environment and our internal world is the reason why we have taken over the planet. Yeah. We change.
Yeah.
Why is this narrative floating in the world talking about people don't change? People don't change. People change.
Yeah.
They have to.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Like
You're really upset about this.
So
I believe
bothered
you.
by it. I'm not fighting you, I swear. Like, let me calm down. The people change. People
I understand that
change.
frustration. Yeah. I do understand that.
And please don't use this as a justification to stay with your crazy toxic relationship.
No,
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
For the love of Christ. But your identity is so wrapped up in the story you tell yourself. And the story you tell yourself is directly responsible for the perspective that you focus on.
Yeah.
And if there's a guru that I really, really enjoy how he explains it. Tony Robbins, if you know who Tony Robbins is.
I don't.
He's like one of the first coaches. He's very famous for being like the first coach.
Oh, okay, got
Like,
you. The first life coach?
Yeah, the first life coach ever.
Wow, he started a movement.
He started a movement, and if you ever listen to his speeches, like the ones at his event, he's so profound and so good. The way he just the nail on the head with like foundational ideas, but makes it so relatable, inspiring.
Yeah.
Which is his job. But like, I gotta respect the man. That's like art, really. For real, it's like art. But he said people are a composition of the stories they tell themselves. And if you're an addict, you're always gonna be an addict. Let's say you stop smoking.
Yeah.
Why have you stopped smoking? You stopped smoking because you no longer identify yourself with the stories that a smoker has.
Yeah.
If someone offered you a cigarette, you're not gonna be like, think about it, I wonder how that is. I wonder how that smells. Like, I remember, think about it fondly. You're gonna be like, no, I don't smoke anymore. I'm not a smoker. Versus like, I'm trying to cut back on smoking. I'm trying to cut back on drinking.
Right.
You're still very much ingrained in the narrative and the story of what it means to do those things.
This reminds me of a South Park episode.
Oh, wow.
I was literally just watching it last night. This is the only reason why. I'm not going to go into detail the South Park episode. If you know, you know. I think it's like season 9. One of the dads is like an alcoholic. It's like the storyline, and it's obviously he goes to AA meetings, and it's kind of the storyline is kind of like the stories that you tell yourself. Yeah.
And then you change the story, you change the perspective, you change your identity.
Yeah.
And if you change your identity to something more positive, you'll obviously have more confidence in that.
Yeah.
And I think the narrative that people don't change is so limiting because change is the most pivotal thing for confidence development.
Right.
And acknowledging a capacity to change is one. And then 2, identifying the stories that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
And changing the story to be more aligned with how you want to be and who you are as a person. That was foundational for me to becoming the person I am today. Because you met me. You remember how I was when we met.
Yes.
And it's so funny because I developed this story that I was telling myself about who I am.
Yeah.
I can see in retrospect that I was nowhere near that person.
Yeah.
But in my brain, that's all I told myself.
Yeah.
And it gave me some level of like confidence in existing in the world, sure. But when I became that person, when I was like 23 or 24 and looking back to how like the journey that it took to get there, I was like, damn. Talk about manifestation.
Right.
Talk about ideation. I was like,
visualization.
You know, which speaking of like, how was your vision board? Actually, did you do?
We actually just ended up talking for 3 hours the entire time and never actually did it.
Boo! But I love that for you still. Like that's still really good.
It was fair. We like talked about like
your vision.
We were reflection and all that kind of stuff. But we didn't actually
like to see the board.
Yeah, no.
Vision boards are very difficult.
Yeah. It was like a fun idea. And I had a lot more fun just hanging out with my friend. So
which is fair.
Yeah.
Which is totally fair. But when you become the story you tell yourself, when you're not that different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah.
The association, like even just like the very basic human human response to achieving a goal, even if it's a goal you didn't even know you had. It's like the satisfaction, the sense of achievement, the sense of something.
I don't know. Achievement. I thought achievement was a good word, but
and it's like, wow, I really became that.
Yeah.
And then you look back on what you were, and you're like,
right. You're like, you really thought she was doing something.
Yeah, you really thought you were. You really faked it till you make it a little bit, but everything that I was doing was leading me to that. And when you identify with a certain idea that you want to become, you start doing different things. I started reading different books. I started wanting different people to be around. I started wanting different people to date. I started interacting in those spaces differently. I walk the talk and talk the walk until the walk became the talk, and the talk became the talk, and the walk was, all that crazy stuff.
All that good stuff.
And you will never be able to start that. You'll never be able to get there if you have this story about yourself.
Yeah.
And
this image,
like,
idea.
Well, people don't change, and this is who I am. And you try so hard to be okay with that story. Right. With that version of yourself that you don't think you can improve. Yeah. Or you can augment in any way. Yeah. And my brother's like that, and he's 31 or something like that. Man, he's stuck in that. Every time I talk to him, just stuck in a narrative that he was told and he believed from the time he was 12 years old. Right. And I'm like, bro, you're not that dude anymore. Like, look at your life until now. You're not that guy. Right. But if you believe in your brain,
the brain's a powerful thing.
It is a powerful thing. We always talk about it. Powerful thing, yeah. If you believe that you're that person, you will always be that person. Yeah. And you won't change. Yeah. And maybe that's the pattern that people observe. So they're like, well, people don't change, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but people can change.
But they can. Yeah.
And they should change. Yeah. And it's relatively simple to change a perspective. Yeah. And just believe something different. Yeah. So.
No, I think that's really important what you're touching on about what you believe in. I think that's, I don't know. I really like that. You be careful with what you believe and where you place your belief, because that really can impact your self-perception, the way that you interact, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. This is very true. I feel like I did say something to that effect of your thought, the way that you view yourself. Hold on, where did I put it? I'm like squinting my eyes.
I am really obsessed with the way that people scrunch their face. Yeah. When they're doing anything, I'm just faces.
Faces in spaces.
Literally.
Where did I say this? Oh, I think I was singing something a little bit different, actually. But one thing I wrote down, because I think I thought back to my own personal journey and what I had to do. I had to, and I wrote this down, admit to myself who you really are.
Oh my.
I know. Whoa. It was intense.
God damn.
It was intense.
Talk about the stories we tell ourselves.
Talk about the stories we tell ourselves. But I think it's kind of within that same vein, I think just said a slightly different way. I did not want to admit who I really was, and not in necessarily the good, bad way, negative, positive, but just I'm just not that girl. Right. I respect it. I go girl, do your thing, girl, but I am not that girl. And I just did not want to accept who I really was.
To the point you weren't trying to define it at all?
I was just hiding. Yeah, exactly. Where I was just kind of hiding from it in a way. And then hiding behind things that were maladaptive. There was a point in my life where I was fully convinced that I had social anxiety.
Bitch,
and you
where?
Exactly, bitch, where?
That's crazy.
I was so convinced.
I'm just a shy girl.
I'm just a shy girl who just oh my God, guys, please, no. That's the thing is I'm not shy. Right. I'm really not a shy person at all. And
I saw those videos.
Yeah, I saw those. Yes. Oh yeah,
You just said me once I can put in this episode just down at the bottom.
just like right here. No, but that's just like a really big funny one because I've like when I tell you I was really fully convinced. I was so fully convinced. But yeah, there was a moment where I had to be like, you are just not this person, and that is okay. And I feel like I have to be careful with how I put this because like it's like it sounds like counterintuitive to like the confidence thing, but like in the same vein of like trying to like appease and fit yourself into a box that is just not you, and then considering the other box and you having this story of like how bad that other box is, but that's the box that you fit into.
Right.
That's where you exist and that's where you thrive. And once you accept that about yourself, then like the better off you'll be. I'll give another example that I think will be really applicable. In clothing, I'm really trying to look and find my style. I'm definitely like a generally like fashionable, stylish person. I tend to not look poor and look bad.
Yes,
well, like not poorly, not poor as in money. Anyways, moving on. Okay.
Great.
But there was at one point where I was like really trying to fit into like this very like specific like style that I really love. I really love it. And I love really all style. Like if it's like cool, it's interesting. Like I love it. Yeah.
I'm into it low key.
Exactly. But I really wanted to be like this kind of girl who was like the one who like goes to like the Sunday flea market like every day, is like thrifts all the time. And I do these things, whatever. And like the way that you dress is kind of very like hippie boho-y. And I think we all know what I'm talking about when I say this because it's all over TikTok. Right. But it's very kind of like maximalist too in like style.
Just putting everything together and somehow it kind of works.
Right.
And if you're confident enough, then
totally.
Go girl type.
Totally. Absolutely loved it. Tried to like dress myself in this way and it was fine. Like, you know, I was discovering my style. You try on different hats till you find the one that fits.
Let the record show you rarely ever look bad.
Thank you.
Like, your fits are usually on point.
Thank you.
Usually.
I appreciate
I'll tell you if they were.
This is true.
Girl, what is happening?
What is going on? But I really did try. And granted, I never like went to the point where I would like walk outside and dress like this. But I just was finding that I just never felt like fully comfortable. There's nothing wrong with what I was wearing, but I just never felt fully comfortable. And as like I'm trying to like discover my style more, I'm realizing, because you kind of going back to like the basics, I'm realizing, okay, I like more simple, clean, classic, elegant lines. Like I like elegance. I like simplicity. I'm not someone who does like a shit ton of color. I'm not someone who does like a shit ton of pattern. I definitely like to integrate some like fun pieces here and there that are interesting, but I care more about silhouette than I do about like frills and color and all these sorts of things. Yeah. And so I'm realizing now I'm like, okay, like because I didn't want to be that like basic bitch, clean girl aesthetic, but like I wear literally like jeans and a white t-shirt, jeans and a black t-shirt literally all the time. And I feel the most confident when I'm wearing something like this versus when I'm trying to put on like a little cute boho-y skirt and like a cute cardigan. Crazy. And I'm just like, it's cute and it's comfortable, but I just don't, it's not fitting in my skin.
Gotcha.
So that being the example of like, admit to yourself who you really are and be okay with that. Lean into it. It's totally fine.
I like that kind of variation because I think that's equally as important in the narrative thing that I was talking about.
Totally.
Because it's one thing to like tell yourself a story. It's equally as relevant the stories you say about the things that maybe you associate like negatively. Yeah. And if you are that thing, like you were saying, if you are the box, you kind of have to accept that.
If the shoe fits, wear it.
Wear it.
Lace
wear it. Maybe scrub it a little bit.
Right.
But like, don't think it's a bad shoe.
Right.
Like you are who you are at the end of the day. And you can only build and transform and shift from that place first. Yeah. Like you can go to other places. Not to say you can't go to other places.
Totally.
But you have to start and accept where you are. And if you do start and accept where you are, you might actually find that where you are is a good place to be.
Totally.
As you clearly like your little simple situation.
I'm chilling.
Looking like,
and my jeans and a simple top. I have so many now.
And it's so interesting too, like in the realm of fashion. It's so hard to make simplicity look good.
Yes.
So, it's basic, sure. But like everyone's wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and not everybody be looking.
Oh,
I'm just saying, not everybody be looking.
Not everybody be looking. But I think that's also like the thing too, is like even like style is such an important aspect of confidence, right?
True.
External ways in which you can like build your confidence is like taking care of like your vessel, right? And like paying good attention to it.
And that's perfect, because that's what I was touching on when it comes to skill. Right, especially for men,
right?
Society don't really like men to be the most confident and in tune with themselves. It just like society, like our standards for women force them to be insecure.
Yes.
Standards for men lower their confidence.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know why that is. As a society, but it's just a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon I've observed.
Oh yes,
indeed. So the easy way to counteract that is to have a sense of how you exist in a space, and almost have a guarantee of how you exist in that space.
Yeah.
So if you know without a shadow of a doubt that if you were placed in, like, for lack of a better, we were talking about Olympic swimmers all weekend. So if you were placed in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, if you are an Olympic level swimmer, you're going to have a lot of confidence in that area.
Yeah.
Versus if you never swam a day in your life, there's no way you can be confident.
Yeah.
In an Olympic-sized swimming pool, you'll drown.
Yeah.
For lack of a better thing.
Right.
So finding one thing and getting really good at it. Not necessarily to say find the thing that you're good at, because you might not be good at anything.
Right.
But anyone can be good at anything.
Yeah.
I was not a good cook when I started. But why am I a good cook now? Because I've cut more onions than the average person.
Right.
And that's a true story. Like, literally, that's what happened.
Right.
Like, wow, you're so good at cutting onions. You cut them so fast. You cut them so perfectly. I've just cut more onions than you.
Right.
It's not an intrinsic reflection of my ability to do something.
Right. You just put in the hours.
Exactly.
Put in the time.
Exactly. Same with like style too. You're in the mirror every day trying to find stuff to put together. You walk out the house, it looks good. Not because you have a natural affinity to how things look. It's because you test and try and do it. You've developed the skill of how to dress yourself.
Totally.
And that can be applied to literally anything.
This is so true. Yeah.
And the more things you can do, the more the way that you exist in a space becomes defined.
Yeah.
So, especially on the social level, if you have like a lot of information on how to talk to people, we're chatty.
Yeah.
You're not social anxiety.
No, literally not.
So we chat. I have information, social information, psychological information that I can pull from.
Yes.
My internal source that I can pull information from. So it doesn't matter where I am. I know I can talk about any of these things. And I know the type of conversation that will happen if I talk about any of these things, because I've been in that many spaces.
Right.
So if I can predict a certain outcome, then I don't have anxiety. I don't have insecurity. I don't have fear about what's going to happen, what's going to transpire in that space.
Right.
I can exist as if I know what's going to happen. And usually what you think is going to happen kind of happens.
Yeah.
Confidence.
Right. This is very true. This is very true. Yeah. Sorry, my brain blanked. Not that I get blanked. I just I agree.
It. Yeah, right. For sure. But that's not interesting content, Renee.
I'm so sorry. No, but I think that is like like the skill thing is like definitely true, because like for me, definitely like can like apply that to style, right? It's just because there was at one point where I would tell myself, the story that you tell yourself, that like I'm not like someone who is like super stylish, you know, I'm just not like the stylish girl. I'm more of like a Taylor Swift in a world, not to say Taylor Swift is not stylish, but everyone knows she's kind of has that like millennial like style. Anyways, in a world of like Nessa Barrett's and I don't know. And it really was just like a thing of like, why am I telling myself this? Even the same thing, something that like I'm currently working on now, right? What we were talking about with like my eating habits. Not good. So not good. I like go into moments where I'm like, I'm doing really well and then I do really bad. But the story that you tell yourself, right? As like, I've always told myself I'm a horrible cook. I hate being in the kitchen. Even though like, it wasn't like we weren't exposed to cooking as children. Like my mom made us cook all the time with her. Like my dad cooked all the time as well. Like it's not like this weird association with being a woman in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like I had my
no misogyny there.
No misogyny when it came
all
to the kitchen.
All those recipes from those black hands.
Right, exactly.
All that forced education.
Literally, and none of it retained. None of it retained. I've always hated cooking. I hated cooking.
We've had this conversation, so I won't go in right now.
Thank
but
you.
You know how I feel about
but you know how I feel.
You know how I feel indeed.
But yeah, story that you tell yourself. I've never been a good cook. I hate cooking. I don't like being in the kitchen, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, the ways in which my eating habits are impacting my health, for one, and like my perception of myself is like important. So, you know, building up that confidence and putting myself out there too. This is something that I'm like telling myself to do because it's not something that I've done. Right. So this is something that's like an active situation. Like
now you've immortalized it on the podcast.
Yeah, now I really have to do something.
Yikes.
But yeah, no, I why am I like suffering so much
You're
right now?
exhausted. It's okay.
Yeah, I think I might have started to reach my limit. But yeah, that's like a big part of that. It's like I've told myself I can't do something, therefore I'm not going to be confident in that space at all. And it's annoying and like unnecessary. And I need to just, and then as you start cooking and start learning how to do, like you do different recipes and have your thing, you're like, this is actually not that hard. It is like if you're trying to maybe do some sort, but like for every day, like I'm just trying to make an egg sandwich in the morning. You know, like
your 7 a.m. breakfast situation is not going to be a Michelin star meal.
Right. It doesn't, and it does not need to be.
And it shouldn't be. What are you doing?
Exactly.
And
but it goes a long way.
Say, as a chef, the Michelin star chefs are cracking an egg on rice in the morning.
Yeah. Right. Like no one's doing anything crazy. No one's doing anything crazy.
I can't cook.
I can't do it. Right.
Remy said it best. Or Gusteau said it best.
Okay.
Everyone can cook.
Yeah. This is true. Except when I was a sophomore in college, I did have to call my baby sister and ask her how to scramble an egg. So
I'm glad you really didn't call me for that. I'm glad.
No, I did not.
I'm glad because if you did, I don't think we'd be friends. I don't think we would have been friends. That's crazy. That's crazy.
You know, but you know what? That's the thing about like those sorts of skills that you may not have, like you don't have an affinity for it, right? Like I've never been drawn to cooking, or like, you know, some people kind of have like just a more intuitive, like they're just kind of more drawn to the thing, right?
Or just like an internal sense of how things are. Like how I was explaining how to knead gnocchi when it's really soft.
Right.
Like people with green thumbs. Or, you know, people that know how to mix like the perfect alcohol to juice ratio in drinks because they're alcoholics.
Yeah.
Skills.
All skills.
I'm saying. I'm that person. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my God. LOL. That's so funny. But yeah, there is something to be said of tackling something that you do not have a natural predisposition. Why is that being that word?
Second time.
I do not have a natural affinity for cooking. I'm not drawn to. I don't. There's not any intuitive nothing, at least initially, when it comes to cooking for me. And there is something that is a confidence booster to like then like approach it, and like you have like I have a couple recipes that like I've like learned to make for myself, and like it is kind of a confidence booster to be like, okay, yeah, like I can like never have done something, be completely like novel to me, and learn it and execute it. And like it's like there's an aspect of confidence where like you learn that you are capable. Like that's really important. I think that's like kind of like tied to like skills and learning new skills.
And being capable, especially for a dude, really important to your ability to do things. Honing your body to perfection. Easy way for most men to get into like a high level of confidence. That's what happened to my friend. I don't remember how, I don't know, he wasn't a very confident dude growing up. He struggled with insecurity a lot. Then he got mad buff. And again, the association you have with the external environment. people respect, or men respect you more because you are now an ideal that they're trying to achieve.
Totally.
So the feedback is like, oh, well, maybe that is good. But that becomes internalized.
Yeah.
Because you can move heavy weights around, which, when you put it like that, it makes it sound so much lamer than it needs to be.
Not to like minimize what he's achieved.
It's
impressive.
I will always say this about him. I respect to death his freaking discipline.
Yeah.
Because clearly I don't have it.
Yeah.
Clearly I do not have it. But like, it's
you do have to have a huge amount of that.
Every single day without fail, if it's within his control, he will always act. And he's been that way since college. And I'm like,
that is
respect, bro.
That is like a personality trait, or I don't know what that is, that I have always been jealous of.
Yeah.
Just like someone's like ability to be disciplined. I feel like
not that I can't force myself to exist in that vein, but it's active effort.
Yeah.
Active effort that I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he struggles with the same way.
Yeah.
To which, if you are strong as a man, you will always feel capable in most situations because size and muscles and strength come with physical presence.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a natural deterrent and a natural magnet. And that will get you into a lot of good situations. I love having this dude around because I feel safer in his presence. I do. If I'm traveling, I want him with me because I don't think I'll be mugged if he was over there.
Right. That is so funny.
I don't get to experience that much because I'm always around these chicks that I'm that for.
Right.
Right. Jesus Christ. But
oh my God.
It gives you this sense of being able to do something.
Yeah.
And a lot of your sense of self can be filtered through that. Although if I get into a situation where I can take care of business.
Right. Yeah. No, literally exactly like that. Exactly. So, I can open that jar for you, pretty lady.
Yeah, exactly. I can open jars. I can reach the top shelf. Sorry, Short Kings. Yeah.
Sorry, Short Kings.
Yeah. Like that, your ability to do things will instill you with, because you can do it.
Right.
It's like, that action, give me the jar, because you can open it. That's confidence. Yeah. Because you're very confident you can open the jar. Which is why men get really mad when they can't open that damn jar. Like, what the?
So frustrating.
It was so funny. I saw on TikTok this girl super glued a lid to the jar, and he took it to the gym. Hyper testosterone, masculine men.
Right.
Can you open this for me? She's like, oh, sure. Or I think it was like protein powder or something.
Yeah.
This dude broke the protein jar on the floor because he couldn't do it.
That's in the protein powder.
Yeah.
Went everywhere. You're not very. That's not very helpful. I mean, he doesn't know that it's like
a prank, but still, he got so frustrated.
He got so mad that he just wasted all her protein powder instead. I hope he bought her a new one.
It didn't get that far.
Okay.
It didn't get that far.
I guess not. I guess like maybe not
for the prank,
because
sure.
for the prank. Yeah.
But also why I say 3 things for confidence, because if it's only skills. And then you don't develop your story and your identity, and then you don't have the positive feedback from the environment,
right?
Then you get people like that,
right?
Which ends up being more ego, than
he's like
internal confidence.
I can't open this jar. I'm not masculine.
Yeah,
I'm around
clearly
all these
I'm
people.
not good enough because I can't open this jar.
So I'm going to break this jar so that
it's open.
Yeah,
I gotta reprove to myself that I am capable,
right?
Versus being like, well, sorry, bro, I can't open this jar.
Yeah, like, I don't know. That shit's sealed tight.
And that is truly confidence, as with most things, exists with a reversal. And that is we literally just touched on what that reversal is, because the entire conversation at first was speaking to people who have low confidence and how to move towards a path of confidence, what to focus on. Yeah. But all those things individually are feeding your ego.
Yeah.
And your ego is 100% a component of confidence because your sense of self is your ego.
Yeah.
It's only a bad thing in the extreme. And people like to talk about it like, oh, arrogance, confident, blah, 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 ego, kill the ego, kill the ego, kill the ego. Kill the ego.
Yeah.
But Ego is important. Ego is necessary. But ego needs to be restrained and qualified and subdued by an internalized understanding. So if you're capable of opening a jar, your capability doesn't automatically go away when you can't open one jar one time.
Right.
If you can talk to women, your ability to talk to women doesn't go away after you get rejected by that one girl who doesn't want you. Right. If you can swim across the ocean, I question why you're doing that.
First of all.
But it doesn't go away because you hit a wave and you wiped out one time and you're tired, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Understanding and internalizing your skill set and your capabilities, reinforcing them with the story, and then not needing to prove it in the external environment, because your confidence, like you were saying, is for you and internalized in yourself is really the where confidence becomes confident.
Yeah. Wow. This is very true. I agree.
You just be agreeing these days.
I input. I provide. I input. You're just so much better at like really nicely tying a bow in concluding than I am. I would just be like, yeah. So anyway,
you sell yourself too short. Which, to that point, it's also very interesting to me because if everyone just saw themselves as they see the people that they love and care about, confidence would not be an issue.
Yes, this is very true. Oh God, so true. Sorry, that
I know. I know. I didn't say it because of that.
Yeah.
But relevant.
Yeah.
I get it. So yeah. Think about that.
Think about that. And we're gonna leave you all with that right there. Anyways.
Because most people have a very, very accurate internalization of how to hold themselves in high regard.
Yeah.
Society tells you that confidence is a bad thing. You probably have a lot of associations with a negative self-perception for a variety of different reasons. And you're probably existing with a very low skill set. And confidence is hard to cultivate there.
Yeah.
But your peers are probably existing in the exact same space.
Yeah.
And you think they're the best things ever, if not at least good enough to interact with. Right. So they can't tell you anything negative about themselves because that doesn't compute to you. Yeah. It makes no sense to you.
Right.
But you, for yourself, don't keep that same energy.
Totally.
Keep that same energy for yourself, and you'll find that having confidence and being confident and developing confidence is easy as pie.
Yeah.
Easy as pie. Treat yourself like your best friend first. And that will
Talk to yourself like you talk to other people. Yes. See yourself through other people's eyes if you need to.
Look at your life through heaven's eyes. What we man is worth by what he builds or buys. You must look at your life.
Action.
Really?
That's Prince of Egypt, right? Yeah, I think they're making a live action Prince of Egypt.
I love that movie. That was DreamWorks' first movie.
Beautiful. Honestly, I'm kind of like that they're making a live action because it's so good.
For that story in particular, I think
they could do
it justice, especially with all the stuff we have now.
Yeah.
And how good that stuff was. It'll be fine.
This is true.
It'll be like a musical type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. I think that would be really enjoyable.
I am excited though overall. Yes.
Look at your life through heaven's literally. I love those Arabian people, man. They know how to have great parties.
Yes.
Great parties. And I like it because kind of like black people in a different way. Middle Eastern's community dance that's not like, oh, you go into the circle and you break it down. Yeah. Like white people love throwing people in circles. Like you do something silly.
White people love throwing people in circles.
They do. But there's something to be like, we're all like having fun together, dancing and enjoying ourselves. Or like the boom, 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 boom.
You were having such a good time.
But yeah, so that's kind of all we have to say about it for the time being.
Yeah.
We'll put another episode about confidence part 2, where we go into details about actually how to like be confident in scenarios and stuff like that. But that's like the general idea of how to be confident, where confidence comes from, and how to really, or what to focus on when you're thinking about, or you're feeling a little insecure and you want to have a higher level of general confidence. That's how you do it.
Yeah, totally.
So I hope you enjoyed that, and let us know what you think.
Yes.
Do you think you're a confident person? How do you think you could improve?
How do you achieve that?
Yeah. And how? What is your association with your limitations? And how can you integrate that into your sense of self?
Such a funny question to me. Not because it's like funny, but because it's funny. Tell me about your limitations.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Anyways, and with that, also follow us on all of our socials: Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube. Like our Facebook page.
Oh yeah. Never forget about that damn Facebook page. Hey, yeah.
Oh, we got you guys. And all that good stuff. Yes, love you guys.
And at the end of the day, I'm Jem.
And I'm Renee.
And I'm really confident.
I'm so confident.
Just kidding. We're the intellectuals.
Yes, we're the intellectuals. All right.
Until next time.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.